Hello everyone, it's Dr. Langbine, and today we're going to be talking about simple linear regression. For this first problem, I wanted to work through step by step what your textbook does on page 113 through 115. And I wanted to discuss a little bit about the meaning of each of them and how you go about calculating it. Now, I've set this all up in Excel and added some additional columns to help show you exactly what we're doing. There's more columns in this than there are in the textbook. Okay, so the first thing that they give you is they give you all of the x's and they give you all of the y's. Okay, so in our first column, we're just going to take all of our y's, add them together. That's the sum. So if you take everything in the y's, add them together, you get 42. The mean, that is just merely the average. So we take a look at this and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So to get the mean or the average, you're going to take the sum divided by 6, and there gives you the mean of 7. So the mean of y is 7. For x, they give us all the values of x. We add them together. We get the sum of 24. Again, the mean of x, you just take the 24 divided by 6 numbers, gives you 4. That is the mean, or the average is 4. In our next column, they want us to take x minus the mean of x, and then we're going to square it. So let's take the x minus the mean of x. So x is 3 minus 4 gives us a -1 squared. -1 times -1 equals 1. Okay, so in the second column for D, we're going to see x minus the mean of x. So we have 4 minus 4 is 0. 0 squared is 0. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. 0 squared is 0. 2 minus 4 is -2. -2 squared is 4. And 5 minus 4 is 1. 1 squared is 1. In our next column, we're going to take y minus the mean of y, and then we're going to square it. So here's our y column. So we're going to take 6 minus 7 gives us -1. Squared gives us 1. y 8 minus 7 gives us 1. Squared is 1. And we're just going to go down through the column and do that for each of these. When we do this, you'll see here's the numbers. We have 1, 1, 4, 4, 6.25, 6.25. And we're going to total that, and that's going to give us 22.5. And that's the total of this column. The total of this column gave us 10. We'll see those numbers later. So now it wants us to take x minus the mean of x times y minus the mean of y. So we already have these columns. So we're going to take our x minus the mean of x, which is -1, times y minus the mean of y, which is -1, which gives us 1. And we're going to go through and we're going to do that for each of these numbers, and we come up with 0, 4, 0, 5, 2.5. You add those together and it gives you 12.5. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is the predicted value of y. To do this, it's a little bit more complicated. So the very first thing that we have to do is we have to figure out what our B1 is. To come up with our B1, you take the sum of x minus the mean of x, and you multiply that times y minus the mean of y, and then you divide that by the sum of x minus the mean of x squared. So if you take a look at that, let's take a look at this number. So sum of x minus the mean of x times y minus the mean of y, we've already done that. So that answer is 12.5. So don't think you have to keep recalculating these. Some of these numbers we already know. We're going to divide that by the sum of x minus the mean of x squared. So we already know that that answer is right here. So to get our B1, you're going to take 12.5 divided by 10, and that gives you 1.25. So that is what B1 equals, and we need that. So BO equals the mean of y minus B1 times the mean of x. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the mean of y, which is 7, minus our b1, which we just calculated, which is 1.25, and we're going to multiply that times the mean of x, which is 4. So when we calculate that out, we're going to have 7 minus 1.25 times 4, which gives us 2. So that's what our BO becomes. So if we wanted the estimated regression equation, so you would use this as y with your little hat on it is equal to 2 plus 1.25x. And we could substitute whatever number we want in for x. So for example, in your textbook, they want to say, okay, if the payroll next year is 6 million, and all of these we're using in million, is each x equals a million. So if we'd say x is equal to 6, meaning 6 million, if we wanted to calculate our estimate, we'd have 2 plus 1.25 times 6, which would give us 9.5. That would be our prediction. Okay, a few other things that I want to go over with you because you'll need this for the rest of your homework to be able to complete it, is these other couple columns down here that we need to look at. So the first column that we want to look at is the predicted value of y. So to get our predicted value of y, we're going to take our 2 minus our 1.25, multiply that times 3, and that's where we get our 5.75. For our next one, we're going to take our 2 minus 1.25 times our x, which is 4, which is going to give us 7. And you can work through the rest of them. The next column that we're going to do is we're going to take y minus the predicted value of y, and then we're going to square it. So we have 6 is our y minus our predicted value of y, which is 5.75, which gives us 0.25. You're going to square that, and you get 0.0625. And then you'd work your way down through the column, and then, of course, you'd add everything together, and you'd get 6.875. Finally, we're going to do the predicted value of y minus the mean of y, and then we're going to square that. So the predicted value of y is our 5.75 minus our mean of y, which is our 7, gives us our negative 1.25. We're going to square that, and it gives us 1.5625. You're going to go ahead and you're going to do that for the rest of the column, and then you're going to add those together. Now let's just take a look so we understand different questions that we might be asked. So we might be asked to come up with a sum of square total, SST. We've already done that right here. That's our 22.5. We might be asked to do our SSE, sum of squared error. That's right here at 6.875. And we might be asked for our SSR, the sum of square, which is our 15.625. And then keep in mind, we can always be asked to do a different prediction. So again, in this one, we were predicting 6 million in sales. Somebody could ask us to substitute any number in for X to make our prediction.